Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Gov Shack right at 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And the funny part is today is Wednesday. So I probably shouldn't be doing a Gov Shack. I used to do a Gov Shack on Monday. Used to be at 8, now it's 7. So I keep changing the times. I know I'm changing things up on you guys. I know I am, but sometimes I have to because stuff keeps happening. But I'm here, and I wanted to bring up what I thought was an important question or comment or important idea, which is, can or will, whichever, conservatives in New York State, can or will they actually support libertarians? Is that a thing? Can that be done? And we know there are lots of things that are actually, I guess, overlap. Some things that don't. And I went to the Conservative Party of New York's convention this week, a couple of days ago, and I had a chat with many conservatives. We talked a bit, we chatted a bit, we tried to figure out, what we had in common, what we didn't. And I got to tell you, there were things that I really enjoyed, meaning that when I went there, the vast majority of people were like, "Oh, Larry, glad you're here. Oh, Larry, this is wonderful. Good to see you. Let's get a picture. I remember you from when I saw you here." Most people were that way. There were some people who didn't like that I was trying to primary Blakeman. There were some who did not like that. There were a couple, but the vast majority were like, "No, Larry, glad you're here. That's amazing." I'm going to give you some details on that and what I think we need to do about that. And of course, like your comments and questions. There's something I have to ask you, though, if you don't mind. And that is, click that, the little knob, the thumb, whatever it is, that says Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. It does matter. We have to get this out to more people. The more the merrier. We have the more people seeing it. It does matter. Please do that. And if you can, please share this someplace. Repost this on X. Repost this someplace else. Share this out so more people can come in. And you might say, "Well, Larry, I don't know if I want to put it in certain spots because people will be angry. They will be mad at you. They will say bad things." Good. I'm happy to take all the negativity, all the positive. Doesn't matter. All that matters is that we start talking and that people hear me, hear this message, chat with us, learn what we're trying to achieve. That's what matters. If you have not already subscribed to this channel or the page you're watching, please subscribe or follow or whatever is the issue. Please do the thing they want you to do. The thing. It does matter. Again, we're trying to push past this. I cannot monetize this because of the tube of you. You know what I mean? So please, if you want to, this is still a fundraiser. As always, donations always count. Every bit you can, LarrySharpe.com/donate, so we can build more stuff out, do more things, make this work to the best of our abilities. LarrySharpe.com/donate. So I hope that is helpful. So let me move down a couple of these roads if I could. Number one, what I noticed, believe it or not, was an age gap. What I mean by age gap, I mean the beliefs in the young versus the older conservatives. All our conservatives in general, it's a good general rule, love Trump. Trump still has a strong hold on most conservatives in New York State, most Republicans in general. But again, for those who don't know, conservatives and Republicans in New York State, while many of them overlap, they are two separate parties. The Conservative Party is one party, more of a third party, and the Republican Party is a separate party in New York State. That's not true in every state, but in mine it is. The conservatives tend to be more hardcore conservative, less mainstream Republican, but they still are, most of them. There's a couple who are mad at Trump. There are a couple, but vast majority still love Trump. So I think it's great. When they bring up his name, people love it. They clap. Does matter. They still love Trump. They do. So that I wasn't surprised about. But there is an age gap difference. The older the people are, the more they support Trump. The younger they are, actually the less. Doesn't mean I don't support Trump, but the vigor is different, right? If you say something Trump did in the room, if you're over 40 and you're conservative, you are clapping. If over 50, 60, you are happy. If you're under 30, yeah, I guess you can see a difference in motivation on the age, which I did not see. Something else I saw was most people just not focusing on the 2A piece at all, the Second Amendment, not focusing on it. They were kind of trying to not let that walk away. But the pro-life people were there in force. And that also, by the way, this is an odd that I thought was odd. That was also skewed by age. Not how you might think, though. The younger people were more pro-life or more or less able to overlook Blakeman, who was not pro-life at all. They were less able to overlook that than the older. The older were more like, what are you going to do? They were much more that way, which I'm surprised. That part did surprise me. I assumed that the older conservatives would be more harder on being pro-life, but no. So I think that was the thing that was interesting for me. There were lots of Republicans there. You might go, of course, as conservatives. Yes, but there were many. There were maybe 50-50 people who were actually registered Republicans versus people registered conservatives. There were a lot of Republicans there. So this is a part that obviously overlaps a lot, but they are separate parties and they do get upset. Very often, conservatives follow Republicans. There are certain times when they don't, but it's very often they do. But one thing the Conservative Party does in this state is they will literally not endorse anybody. That's their slap on the Republican wrist, right? That's their slap. Just, that we're not going to endorse anybody. So that's what they often do. So I think that was the interesting piece that I found here for sure. They also care tremendously about having a third party line. And in New York State, that's hard. They're going to have to get 130,000 votes in this election coming up here to stay a party. And they're concerned. I know what it's like to lose a party. I lost one a couple years back. It sucks. And that is a big deal for them. They care about maintaining their party status. I understand it. I'm concerned too. They are very concerned, and they want to make sure that whoever they pick will get far more than 130 because you also may not know in New York State, where you get in the presidential and then the governor's line, where you get the amount of votes you get is where you stay on the ballot physically. So if you get the third highest, you stay number 3, fourth highest number 4, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they like being number 3. I get it. I would like that too. I'm totally with it. I understand that. So they want far more than 130,000 votes so they can stay not only a party and also stay high on the ranking and not low on the ranking. So that's a critical piece. Also, I think most of these conservatives, they feel like they are kind of like the soul of the resistance, right? Which means they follow one thing that libertarians follow. A lot of them really like virtue signaling. Boy, libertarians more than them. The libertarians love virtue signaling. These guys like it too. And they get mad when you tell them they're virtue signaling because that's usually a left-leaning concept. But to be forward, all political people do it. When I vote, half the time I'm virtue signaling. So it's just how it works. But they do not like when you say it, but they do like it. Libertarians like it more. I mean, we really like virtue signaling, but they also like it. So I guess that's kind of what I saw when I was there. I might take some questions and go to some specific issues where I think we can overlap and where we also might be able to move forward. But I want to add a piece before I get there. I do want to add a piece. And that is, I went there for a very important reason. I went there so I could motivate more people who are on the right side of the political spectrum to support my endeavors, as you know, in running in the primary for the Republican primary coming up here. The Republican convention is next week. So I was hoping to kind of join forces here, get some of them excited. They have to vote themselves. They actually, the conservatives don't vote for their candidate yet. They vote a recommendation, and then they actually have an actual vote 2 weeks from now. So I wanted to be involved in the recommendation. I wanted people to know that I'm around so that when the Republican came, they would actually hear me out. That was my entire goal, to make that happen. And to be forward, that was successful. That was successful. I did not think that I would be the recommendation. I didn't think that. Blakeman was the recommendation. But I know that I was talked about in the room. People brought me up. There was discussion about me becoming the recommendation. I did not get that recommendation, but there was discussion about it. And that's actually what I wanted. So my goals, while limited, were achieved. The people in the Conservative Party were talking about me. I was talked about in that room when it came to who they're going to decide to use, who they're going to decide to endorse. But their recommendation was Blakeman, not me. Okay. Next week, the Republicans are going to have their convention. They will actually vote. I'm hoping many Republicans who were there, many conservatives who were there, will go there and put my name in the ears of enough Republicans. Because how it works in New York State, if next week the Republicans at their convention get me 26% of the vote, or 25% plus 1% of the vote, if that happens, I will automatically be in the Republican primary. That is not an easy task to achieve. Being very forward, that is not an easy task to achieve. But if it does happen, I'm in. If it doesn't happen, I have to go out and get signatures. I have to get 15,000 signatures of registered Republicans. Is that hard? Yes. Is it impossible? No. We've done far worse, far harder. It can be done. The problem is it will probably cost me a bunch of money. I don't want to spend the money on getting signatures when I could spend the money on the actual campaign. That's the issue. I do not want to spend the money on the signatures when I could spend it on the campaign. That's my issue. So what are you going to do? But I will do either one. Either way, I'm going to be in the primary. The question is, do I do it without having to pay a bunch of cash, or do I have to pay cash? I'm trying to not pay the cash. What does that mean for you? What that means is if you are in New York State and you are not a registered Republican and you want to vote for me in the Republican primary, you will have to change your registration to Republican no later than February 14th. If you change registration by February 14th, you may vote for me in the primary June 23rd. That's how that works. So if you care and you're in New York State and you want to vote for me in the primary, please head over. Either you can do it on DMV site, you can physically go to the place, you can go to the Board of Elections, whatever the case may be, and make a change to Republican so that you can vote in primary. In New York State, we do not have open primaries. We should, but we don't. We don't have open primaries. So if you want to do it, you must do that. Every vote counts. Now, will that count for the vote coming up here next week? No, that will count for the vote in June 23rd. Larry, why February 14th? Because that's the random number they decided. Remember, everything New York State does when it comes to elections is arbitrary. Everything. It's just, we said so. And judges will never stop it ever. They don't care. They'll never say a word. They'll let it go. So February 14th, because that's the reason. I don't make the law. I don't make the rules. Maybe one day I will, but I don't now. So that's how it works. By February 14th, if you can do that, do so. It does matter, so you can vote for me in the primary. Second chunk, if I don't get those 25% plus one next week, I will need volunteers to go out and get those signatures. So please sign up at LarrySharpe.com/volunteer and be ready to jump on board so that you can go out and help us get these signatures. We will need 15,000 of them in about 7 weeks or so. I forgot the amount. It's about 7 weeks in about that time frame. So we can get those all knocked out. Must be registered Republicans. Grab them all, get them put in, and we can rock and roll. So if you live in New York State or want to come to New York State to make that happen, we need you there too. So those are two things I need from you. If you want to help out, please help out so we can rock and roll. All right, let me grab some comments if I can, and then I'll move on to some details. Mike Glass in the house. Hello, happy people. So to let Larry in, it's a win. True. That's respect and validation of his solutions. True. Winning conditions are in place. True. I jump around a bit, but my back is still blunt. I'm sorry your back is blunt, brother. But yes, that is, I would say I absolutely did achieve the goals I went there to achieve. Yes. If some of you may have noticed, there's some pictures. People took selfies with me. It was far better. The people who got mad at me, and some did, there were a couple. It was maybe 1%. It was very low. But if people got upset at me, generally speaking, right afterwards, either apologized or came back, come on, Larry. They recognized there was no need to yell at me. It didn't matter, but I knew some would. It was not bad at all. Most of those people were hardcore Bruce Blakeman supporters, and they do not like the idea that anybody would go against him. This part bothers me, though, Mike, and you know it does. The Republican establishment will hoop and holler about Kamala Harris and the Democrats just anointing her. Then the Republican establishment will do the same thing with Blakeman. Now, average Democrats didn't want Harris to be nominated. I'm sorry, didn't want her to be, just coordinated, just put upon us. They didn't want that. They wanted to have some kind of vote. Well, guess what? Republicans want that too. Average Republicans like a vote too. They don't want someone just, foisted upon us. They don't want that. I get it. So I did hear a lot of that, and I'm hoping that they will get the message and not do that. That is my hope. So we will see. Mike goes on to say, I think even all party leaders know that Blakeman can't win and isn't even trying to. Agreed. Most people I talk to don't believe that. Some do. Though, Mike, to be forward, some actually do. They're not leadership. Sorry. Some voters honestly believe that he can win. And I think that's sad. Why do I say that? Not because the people are silly. I'm not. because the leadership is allowing that to happen, not just that encouraging it. They're acting like this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. If this was the year, why aren't there 8 people trying to primary him so they can all get it? Why are people dropping out all around New York State? Republicans dropping out of races all around New York State, right? Why are they all dropping out? If it's such an easy year, are we ever going to win? It's not. It's not. The leadership does know he can't win. They don't care. They want to make sure they do well enough to keep the ballots, to keep everything going. That's it. This is just moving forward. Sadly, you and I both know the New York GOP is maybe 2 cycles, including this one, away from no longer being able to run statewide candidates. And when I brought that up, Mike, to your point, I brought that up many times at the convention, and people were like, whoa, huh. Yeah. So Shelley says physical conservatives will be on board. Social conservatives probably won't. Hopefully there are more physical conservatives who will support them. I agree. I think you're right. And since you brought that up, there's a couple issues where we completely overlap and some we don't. But funny, as a libertarian, the advantage I have, Shelley, is I'll still let you do what you want so you can be more socially conservative and I won't get in your way. What does that mean? I do think, my personal opinion, that it's silly for you to not allow cannabis to be sold in your municipality. But if you don't want it, I won't force you. And some people don't like it. Like, how can you do that, Larry? That's wrong. Libertarian, free market. Agreed. I mean, theoretically, that's true. But there's a cultural issue there, Shelley. And if you don't want it, it's like if you want to have a dry county, you may. And there are still across this country, there are still dry counties, meaning there are counties where you cannot buy alcohol in those counties. They still exist. There are municipalities where you cannot buy alcohol. I think they're dumb. I don't like it, but I'm not prepared. That's not a hill I'm prepared to die on because I think that in the long run, people will get it. So if you're really that where you are, you're like, no, I don't want any cannabis sold in my county. I'm not going to fight you. It's not a battle worth winning. So I think that's a critical piece. But I'll bring up one more now as you bring this up, and that is abortion. New York State is utterly and completely and totally pro-choice. That's true. It's true in our laws. It's true in our court system. It's true, literally codified in our Constitution. And I still have some conservatives who go, you have to ban abortion. And I'm like, you're living in a fantasy world. But some are that way. And those conservatives that way have 2 choices. One, they can not vote. That's option 1. Or they can support someone like me who will make one important promise. That important promise is, while I am pro-choice, I am anti-abortion. And I don't think the government should ever put its hands on a woman for that kind of reason at all. I'm never going to change my mind on that. I'm just never going to do it. Our best defense against abortion is women choosing to not have them. And I will make a New York State to where fewer women will decide to have an abortion. So there will be fewer abortions in New York State. I make that promise. That will be a case, but I'm not. The state would never accept it anyway. It's a fantasy to even imagine that in New York State. The legal war on abortion has been lost. And that's people go, settled law. You heard that before, right? Doesn't mean the cultural war is. This is now a cultural issue. And we can make that shift. It can work. And some people who are just going, Larry, you've got to say the words. Well, then they're not going to vote for me or they'll vote for nobody. Because Kathy Hochul is really pro-abortion. I mean, literally, she's paying people to have abortions in New York State. I'm not making that up. She's literally she's not pro-choice. She's pro-abortion. So she's gone that far. So you don't get it with her. And Blakeman is blatantly pro-choice, openly pro-choice. Will do nothing about abortion at all. Nothing. So if you're that conservative and you're pro-life, you have 2 choices. Don't vote, your choice, or vote for me, you'll get something. I'll give you something. There is no one running in New York State who's going to say they're going to make this a pro-life state. That's simply, the numbers are not there. It's not going to happen. You can wish it if you want to. Okay, you'll be like a libertarian and you'll virtue signal. I'm not mad at you, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm the best you got. And I told them that. In fact, one guy who was hardcore pro-life, just like, no, and it's got to be. And I said, okay, I get you. Let me give you exactly who I am so you can stop bugging me. If you need someone to be 100% what you want, I'm not your guy. Vote for someone else, don't vote. If you say, I'll take the best I can get, I'm absolutely your guy. Do what you want. And I let it go. That's where I am. If that makes you angry, I get it. That's where I am. And I'm the best you're going to get. If that's not good enough, don't vote or move to another state or whatever. That's all I can tell you. I don't mean to be mean, but morally, I am on your side. That's what I would tell you. The other two, they're not. They're not. I will give you a voice. They won't. I will say how I feel about it. They won't. I will bring it up. They won't. I will take steps to make things better. They won't. In fact, Kathy Hochul will make things worse. So for those of you who are pro-life, and many conservatives are, they're your choices. I hope that helps. The second thing that popped up was Second Amendment. Boy, oh boy, Second Amendment. That was the thing too. They try to just ignore it. Bruce Blakeman said, people say I'm anti-gun or anti-2A. I'm the one who lets, the people around me and the people who I need, who are former law enforcement and former military, carry firearms. And that was his pro-A thing. So the people he chooses, they get to carry firearms. That's his pro-Second Amendment stance. I'm not joking. That's what he said, his words. I wish I was making that up. And some people were like, well, I guess that's okay. They were like, didn't know to clap or not. It was embarrassing. It was terrible. The reality of it is, if you're pro-Second Amendment, there is no candidate but me. And if you think there's anyone less, you're not paying attention or you're brainwashed. You're not paying attention or you're brainwashed. If Second Amendment is your issue, there is no one else to vote for but me. There is no one else to support in this entire state but me. There's no one running who's more pro 280. That person does not exist. So on that one, we're totally good. Like, I am your guy. We're good. Done. Next thing came up. And you can imagine. Well, let me grab some more comments before. Thank you for that, Shelly. There was some social issues I think that were important in that regard. So, yeah. I Hate says, hey, Larry, I probably use Instagram, and I saw a video/video reel where Blakeman got 100,000 views. Have you thought of posting videos on social media where you're just roasting Blakeman and Kathy? We do. Here's the issue. Blakeman, while he didn't raise much money, he only raised about $200,000. I raised over 100. So he didn't raise that much money. He has a ton of money that he's gotten from other campaigns. So he bait and switched a bunch of people. He said, I'm running for Nassau, and you want me to stay in Nassau County, and I'm an executive. Give me money. And they threw money at him. It's great. Thanks. I'm going to use that to run for governor. And they were like, wait, we wanted you to be in Nassau. No. I was just kidding. I'm going to go use that money to run for governor. That's what he did. So he has literally, I think, $4 or $5 million, something like that in that area. So he has millions of dollars to buy views and to advertise. I don't have that kind of cash. I do that. If you look on social media, you will see I have videos doing that all the time. I do. But I can't afford to drop all that cash now. But if you guys help me get matching funds, I will. If you guys help me get matching funds, I will. Remember, matching funds is $3.5 million before June, another $3.5 million after. It's $7 million. With $7 million, brother, I can do a whole lot of that all day, all night. Yes, I can. And that's what I'm trying to achieve. So I appreciate it. I have done it. I just can't get the same reach right now. Again, so why do I keep bugging you guys? Hey, share this, click the like button, right? Put a comment. I keep doing it. I have to do grassroots. That's what I got. Now, for those who are paying attention, some of you may or may not be paying attention, my social media is growing, right? It is working, but it's just not growing as fast as his. He has much more cash to put into it. So it's true. Luckily, I'm way ahead of him. His social media is garbage, and it will take him some time to catch up to me. Hopefully, by the time he begins to catch up, I will have raised enough money to where I can keep pushing forward. So thank you for the comment. But I am working on it, but it's just challenging. So yes. John says, just changed my voter registration to Republican for the first time since 2012 to support Ron Paul. I'm only doing this to support you, Larry. Thank you. I need more of you to do it too, guys. There's something else. If a bunch of you start changing your registration to Republican in New York State, and the Republican Party sees it, and they're like, oh my God, Larry's right. He's bringing people back to the party. And they will allow me to run their primary. That's the key. That is the key. That is what I want to do, so we'll figure it out. Shelly says, I have to figure out how to switch parties in 3 days. DMB. Or you can go down to the BOE. You can go around to the BOE and fill out a form. They do it right then and there for you. So there's a local BOE, a board of elections in every county. So you can go to sometimes multiple, depending on how big the county is. It could be multiple, but there's always at least one. So you go to that board of elections and you just physically do it. You fill out a form, give it to them, done. That's it. So yes. So where am I? John says, are the Conservative Party going to allow Larry in the convention? Oh, yeah, already did. I'm sorry, John. I should have said it earlier. Already there, already in, already went. So, yes. Christopher says, I'm a conservative who supports libertarians. I'm a registered Republican with a libertarian mindset. I get it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. I do appreciate that. Yes. All right. Dominic says, how do you feel about the news today that Tom Homan ordering ICE to withdraw from Minneapolis and Minnesota? Not to withdraw, to draw down, but yes, to be forward. I said this was the only right answer, right? Andrea is the one who said he should use Homan. She said on the show. I agreed immediately when she said that. I didn't immediately say it should be Homan. I was saying somebody. He's going to make a deal. Andrea said, how about Homan? And I was like, that's the wrong answer. And that was the answer. It was a great answer. So the reality of it is, and I say this all the time, this is nothing that popped up. I'm glad you bring this up. ICE was brought up too. And a lot of people conservative, they want ICE in, throwing all the migrants out. A lot of them do, but not all the farmers. There's the weird thing. A lot of conservatives are farmers. Farmers aren't about throw them all out. They aren't. They're about throw all the criminals out. The farmers aren't all about throw everybody out. And I think we know why farmers aren't about throw everybody out, because a lot of their people, they need those workers, or they can't compete without those workers. So a lot of the farmers are like, no, throw the criminals out. Don't throw the other people out, right? That's what a lot of farmers think. But if you're not a farmer, a lot of conservatives like, get them all out. ICE is a great idea. ICE should be in there. It's all their fault. ICE is law enforcement, support law enforcement, 100% on board. Many conservatives are hardcore law and order people. You'll find it very common, I'm sure across the country, but in New York State, many of them are hardcore law and order. And I've also said the same thing. I said it here. If ICE goes in without local support, without local coordination, bad things are going to happen. And by the way, I said this last year at this time. It was my biggest worry. But I thought Holman was going to be the problem. If you remember, I was worried because Holman is a zealot. So if you remember when I was there, I thought Holman's going to go in, do all this stuff. I was wrong on that one. It was Kristi Noem who messed it up. It was Holman's the guy who's saving it. And look, I knew Holman was a guy, he gets stuff done. He's an executive. He will make the change. Holman gets shit done. That's what he does. He's been doing it since Obama, right? That guy knows what he's doing. He's a zealot. He knows what he's doing. So I thought he would be a zealot. Like, Trump's let me go. I thought he'd be a zealot and go crazy. He's not. He's not. He's too much of a guy who executes. He's like, I'm not doing it. Instead, Noem went out there, and that guy Bovino was like, throw them all out, do whatever. Trump's over in Europe. They go down to Minnesota. No coordination. Of course, bad stuff happens. Now you might go, but Larry, it's the Dems that did it. They're winning. The Dems, of course the Dems knew. Of course they did. Democrats knew too. I'm not the only guy who knew that. The Democrats knew that, and so do Republicans. So the Democrats know it. Larry, you're saying they don't care if those people died? That's what I'm saying. I don't mean to be cruel, but they don't. Now, be very clear. I should be clear on this. Democratic leadership versus average Democrats. Average Democrats hate the fact those people were killed because they see themselves in them. So if you're an average Democrat, you hate the fact that those people were killed. You can't stand it. You see yourself, you see your friends in it. You cannot stand it. It drives you crazy. And I get it. It should. It's terrible. Those people dying is terrible. But I would look at Democratic leadership that knew that was going to happen and didn't coordinate. And I blame both sides on this. People get mad. This is a failure of leadership. And Noem should have known so Bovino. You think you're to go in there and strong arm your way in there? No, you're not. No, you're not. Your people don't know it. Your people aren't there. You haven't trained them for this. People go, those Border Patrol guys, CBP, those guys have 20 years experience on the border riding horses, not knocking on doors in urban areas. They don't know how to do this. They don't know where to go. They're in different cities. They don't know how Minneapolis works. The local cops do. That's why you didn't have a problem in Tennessee and Texas, because they actually coordinated. To be forward, you're not having much of a problem in New York either, because Mamdani made a deal too. Now, Hochul now is trying to back out of it, of course, because it's good for her. It's good. It's good for her. For her to act like she hates Trump, and she's gaining. Hochul's gaining points on this too. Hating Trump is gaining points for her. So now she hates it. Now you're going to stop all of it now, all of a sudden, right? Anyway, let me go back to what you talked about. When Trump comes back after seeing the debacle, What does he do? He sends Holman and says, let's make a deal. And Holman made a very smart deal. He made the right deal. He said, we will draw down if you coordinate here and there. And Minnesota was like, we don't want any more people dying. We've already won the battle. And the Democrats won the PR battle on this. It's not, I know some conservatives don't want to hear that. It's still true. As I said earlier, you can't win every battle. You didn't win this one. Look, you won in Texas. You won in D.C. You won in Tennessee. Take the wins you got. You're good. You lost this battle. Keep fighting somebody else. Win the war some other way. This is the battle you lost. Walk away. And they did. It was the only answer, Dominic. It was the only answer. They lost the PR war. The local guys went, yeah, fine. We will now. We will coordinate. And Homer said, fine. You'll coordinate. I'll draw down. He didn't withdraw. He drew down. This is a fine compromise. Move on. It's a fine compromise. Move on. As I said, as I told, if you remember when I said this, I said, Democrats, be smart. You've won the battle. Let them march up the field with their colors. Let them march. You've won the day. Let the enemy who's defeated, let them march off the field with their colors. And they did. And it was the right move. So I'm not mad at this considering what happened. The outcome is a decent outcome. I hope that makes sense. So anyway, I know some of you don't like that, but I'm telling you the truth of the way. D says, take the line. I'm trying, D. I am trying. Phil says, young people are more idealistic. Older people are more willing to make deals. I think there's some truth to that. Yeah, I think I saw that. Eric says, Massey Sharpe 2028. I hope so. Eric, I hope that's true. I'm in. Let's do it. If you're watching, Massey. Yes, I'm in. 100%. All righty. I think I covered that piece. I covered most of those. Little Frog says, I'll take Libertarian over Conservative Party any day. Well, I mean, I get that. Obviously, I would too, clearly. But I think there can be, as I talked about, I think there can be a coalition. And that's what I was talking about. The ICE piece, I think there can be a coalition. When it comes to Second Amendment, obvious coalition, right? We're on the same page. Most conservatives are pro-Second Amendment. Most of them are. Most of them realize this. You find a lot of cop unions are anti-Second Amendment, believe it or not. The cop may not be, but the union often is. You'll find unions are very often anti-Second Amendment. That's not always. There's a lot of different unions, but you'll find many of them are. Even though the cops may or may not be. The individual cops in that union may or may not be. But often the cop unions are actually anti-2A. And also Gun Owners of America are very aggressive. NYSERPA in New York State is starting to move away from some of the candidates who aren't as pro-2A. After the NRA got sued, they've been changing their tune a bit. So maybe they'll be more pro-2A. I'm not sure. A lot of hunters are conservative. It's true. So many of them are pro-Second Amendment in general. So I think you find a lot of people. Farmers also tend to be pro-Second Amendment. So I think that's an easy one. On pro-life, I gave you, I think, what is the best deal I can make as a libertarian. Most people were okay with that, believe it or not. Most people actually liked it. Most conservatives were like, yeah, we'll make that deal. They're okay with it. Most people are okay with my stance on the ICE. Most accept it as the appropriate the appropriate compromise, because I think it is, and most people are. Some people are not. Not everyone's going to agree with this, little folks. Some conservatives are going to be like, no, pro law enforcement, no matter what, lock them all up, put them all in jail. Some are that way. I'm not, but I give you the reality compromise that I think I can give. I think it tends to work for most people, but not all. So there we go. All righty. D says, I can't wait to get my lottery shop put in the mail. Thank you. Adam says, I got mine and took it out a week or so. It's a very nice hoodie. Oh, thank you. I like that. Shelly says, I'm an old school conservative, which means you do whatever you want to. Just don't ask the taxpayers to pay for it, which makes you libertarian. Yes, that's true. A lot of people like that. All like that and would agree with you, Shelly. That's not uncommon. So yeah. Dominic goes on to say, get Larry Sharpe to Republican primary. On my way, my friend. On my way. And Christopher goes on to say, I look forward to primary day like I like to vote early in the day and then get some local food or lunch. I like that. Missy says, I'm wearing my Larry Sharpe hoodie right now, y'all. It's so warm and cozy. Do it. Yes. True. Amy, how are you, my friend? Blankman was a pretty funny movie. So, yes, I do like that. Yes. So, all righty. Bronna says, I play a farm gun on Facebook. When I leave each evening, I tell the chatters I'm off to talk politics with ex-governor of New York. Oh, thank you. I hope you're correct. Yes. Adam says, wait, I'm a registered Republican in Rochester, New York. What I need you to get you on the Republican ticket. All you have to, all right. Let me go to the next piece then, guys. Thank you for this, Adam. There is a second thing you can do if you want to help out. If you either live in New York State or you know some powerful or popular Republicans in New York State, either one of those two. If you know them or not, I want you to let them know that I'm serious and that you would support me and that they should support me. So you're in Rochester, talk to your Monroe County Republican Party. Literally call them up, get them on the line, whatever the case may be. Do whatever's required and say, hey, I'm a Republican. I support Larry Sharpe. Vote for him next week so we can get a primary. I want Blakeman to be primaried next week. If you are a Republican in New York State, literally call and or email your local Republican group, whether that is a county or a city or whatever it is, your local Republican chapter. Call them and or email them and or text them, whatever, and say, guy, gal, next week, I need you supporting Larry Sharpe so we can get a primary. We need a primary. I want Larry Sharpe the primary. You don't have to tell them you want them to vote for me because they're not going to. Don't want to tell them they got to support me because they're not going to. They will once I start winning. Then they'll be like, I've always loved Larry Sharpe. That will happen then. But until they've always loved me, they don't until they always have. Well, at that point, they will, and I don't care. Fine, they can have always loved me. It's fine. Adam, but call them, email them, whatever the case may be, and say, hey, I want a primary. No, do not foist Blakeman on us. I want a primary with Blakeman and Sharpe. Tell them that. Tell them that every day if you need to. Get your friends to do so. Get your cousin, your uncle, your sister, your niece, your nephew, anyone who's a Republican, and have them call, email, text, hey, next week, I do not want Blakeman. I want a primary. That's what I want. And Sharpe is primarying, so I want Sharpe in that primary. That's what I need you to do. That's how you get it done. If you are a Republican in my state, or you know people who are, make that happen. That is important. All righty. Let me grab a couple comments over on Instagram if I can. Is it Winging It? Says, begins at the local level, folks. True. Correct. And then goes on, Bongino starting before I even roll out of bed. This is way better. True. I am way better. I'm better looking too. See? So on top of that, I'm also better looking. Yes. Haunted Toe Tag says, at this point, shouldn't we just support anarchy? The state is, the country's moving the opposite direction. So what I tell people often, my more hardcore libertarians, they say things like, oh my God, Larry, everything's so bad. We need to just end this, end that. And I go, we're slowly marching towards authoritarianism. And we've been doing so for decades. And we're marching. Can't we just first turn it around and face liberty and kind of face freedom and be going that way? Can we just do that before we get to anarchy? Can we just start facing the right direction? We're facing the wrong direction and speeding up our run. We're at a trot right now, right? We were just marching. Now we're kind of running. Like we are heading right towards it. So I'd like to slow us down, turn us around, face the right direction. So Gibson, Noah says, what do you think of Kathy's new running mate? Oh my God, the running mates. Very funny running mates. For those of you who don't know, Kathy Hochul, who of course is our Democratic governor, and the person she's running against, which is Antonio Delgado, who was her former lieutenant governor, I guess still officially is lieutenant governor, who's also running against her. Both of them running a Democratic primary. Both of them picked their running mates today. Both black women. Now, I'm not saying black women cannot be governor. Don't get me in trouble. That's not what I'm saying. I have nothing against my sisters. I'm not mad at all. All good. But what a coincidence. They both happen to pick black women. Because the only people who can be governor in New York, lieutenant governor, is black women. There's nobody else could. Come on now. Nobody else could. Yeah. Delgado did something which shows me in my world how desperate he is. He picked India Walton. India Walton, if you guys don't know, is out of Buffalo. She ran for mayor of Buffalo under the Working Families Party. She actually beat a Senator Democrat, the current one, Byron, I think is his name, beat him in a primary. After she beat him in a primary, she was so far left. I'm not joking. It's a true story. So far left, everyone got together. Republicans Democrats together to go to the old Democrat. Republicans Democrats got together to do a write-in campaign to beat her with a write-in campaign because they didn't have an independent line. So they did a write-in campaign, and they beat her in the write-in campaign. Her own Democrats, her own Republicans, and she's still a low Democrat. That is some next level Stockholm syndrome. Yes. So you win the Democratic primary. Democrats go, oh, we screwed that up. No, you can't do that. And they don't have an independent line. They never got an independent line. So the Democrats get together with the Republicans to do a write-in campaign against the Democratic nominee. I'm not making that. This is 2021. I'm not making that actually happened. And she lost to a write-in campaign. Both parties against her because she was too far left. This is why they thought they could beat Mamdani in New York, because they just done it in Buffalo a couple years earlier. So they thought, well, we did it then. We'll do it now. They were wrong, but they thought that. So the true story, she is now going to be Antonio Delgado's lieutenant governor. Now, why does that matter? She's far left. Antonio is still trying his damnedest to be the DSA guy. He's trying. For anyone paying attention, it is not working. But he's like, this is my only shot. I gotta be the Mamdani guy. So Kathy Hochul, she picked, for those who don't know, a woman named Adams, not Adrienne Adams, not related to Eric Adams, simply same last name, not related. Another black woman. She's out of New York City. She's the current head of the city council. I forgot her title. She leads the city council. I forgot the title. Is it whatever the title of the person who runs the city council is? She's that. So she picked her, and boy, are people unhappy because all the crap that's happened in New York City, that's her. Literally, she picked the person who's wrecked New York City. Yes, that's who she picked. So again, why? It's not DEI. Stop, Mike. It's not DEI. I know you're saying it, Mike, or you're saying it, not DEI. It's because these are the only two top qualified women who follow them. Of course not. Anyway, so that's what I think. They picked them for only that reason. That's no other reason. So they were like, see, I'm woker than you. That was it. And don't get me wrong. These were, if you're looking for the woke factor, well done. Well done. I mean, you could have gone further. One of them could be, I don't know, gay or something. You could have gone there, but no, fine. Whatever. So I hope that answers your question. So, all right, let me walk down a couple more of these if I can. All right, you guys covered those. I appreciate that. Hope I answered that question there. Mr. Dayton says, did you learn anything about shoveling from our governor? She's been shoveling for a very long time, and she's very good at it. Not snow, but she's been shoveling for a very long time. So, yes. Anthony says, mobilize Republicans to support the party's Libertarian line faction. Ron and Rand Paul, Thomas Massey, and you stand a chance again in the primary. Here's the problem with that, Anthony. You're right, but that's not so easy. The problem is the Republican establishment. Most Republican voters don't know this. Most conservative voters don't know it as much. The Conservative Party is actually much more, what's I'm looking for? Much more open to change, believe it or not, because it's much more grassroots. The Conservative Party is far more grassroots than the Republican Party is. The Republican Party is really establishment. At the top, I mean, the leadership of the Conservative Party has many more people who are just regular people, not heavily establishment, not only looking for jobs and such. You have some of those in there, of course. All political parties have that. But relative to the Republican Party is much more of a machine, much more, the leadership that is, much more about jobs and things like that, much more that way. So while there are some, they don't want to give up the chances. This happens. It's never happened to me before in the Conservative Party, but in the Republican Party, it does happen to me, which is the Republican leadership will tell all Republicans, do not talk to me. I'm not joking. So I'll call people and they can't talk to me. I'll reach out to them. They can't. I'll see them at an event. They'll walk away. Can't talk to me because they get in trouble. I had one guy joking about it at the Conservative Party. He's like, Larry, I can't be seen with you. But he was serious, but he wasn't because he's a Republican. He's a Republican consultant. So he's like, if I'm seen with you, I'm done. I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Tell me you'll get info. Tell them you were sucking info out of me. You're fine. So yes, but yeah. So you're right. If I could do that, it is challenging because a lot of them won't even talk to me. So yeah, it is a problem. So, all righty. Let's see here. I'll grab some more of these. Russ says we need Larry here in New York. True. Agreed. Yes, absolutely. All right. Phil says, Larry, what are some ways to reduce abortions? Maybe making adoption, not just adoption, obviously, right? The problem is we should look at ourselves and see that people go to China or Romania or whatever. They go all over the place to get abortions. I'm just get abortions where I'm on my head. To get babies, not abortions. They get abortions right here. They go to those ways to get babies to adopt. That should tell us something. It shouldn't be easier to get a baby from some other country than to get babies right here in America. It should not be easier. And that's our problem. There are many reasons why it's a problem, but we have to find ways to make it a whole lot easier to adopt babies. But not just that. Also surrogacy. Surrogacy is actually ended in many places because of the concept of slavery. I'm not joking. I know it sounds crazy, but they'll just have, white or black babies so they can use surrogates and take them to be slave labor. Insanely stupid, makes no sense whatsoever. But that was kind of the reason for a lot of that. It's insanely stupid. It should not be the case. The issue is that if there's a woman, most women who have abortions, most women who do, and this has been true for years, when they survey them, ask them questions, most say the same thing. It was my only option. So most women, when they have abortions, believe it is their only option. If we can show them there are other options, they'll take them. It's how it works. The safer women feel to have babies, they have babies. It's how it works. Most women, not all women want to have babies. About 10% of women, when they do surveys, want to have babies at all, not interested, not part of their life. And about 10% can't, give or take, depending on who it is. But about 10% don't want it at all. So of the 90% left, most of them want to have a baby. And if they can get a baby, those who can get a baby will take one. And those who can't get pregnant, most of them, they feel safe, are happy to have babies. They want babies. If they feel safe and comfortable, they'll have babies. It's very common. But not just that. So we do want to have an environment to where women feel safer to have children, 100%. Also, we want to have less pregnancies. So why are we fighting people and making it hard for people to have contraception? But not just that, surrogacy. So a woman finds herself pregnant. Okay. She says to herself, I can't afford the baby. I don't feel safe, whatever. I can't have this baby. What's my option? I can't tell. What am I doing? Oh my God. And she believes her only option is to end the baby's life. She believes that. Okay. What if it's like, hey, there's literally thousands of families in New York who say, don't do that. I would love to have your baby. I would love to adopt your child. Can you please keep your baby? That's called surrogacy. Keep your baby. We'll pay your bills, whatever your health, insurance is. We'll pay it. Copay, we'll pay it. We will happily pay the dollars. And now what happens is now the people have an option. When they have the baby, they know where the baby's from. They know the mom, maybe the dad. Hopefully, if she wasn't, hopefully it was right. Know the dad. That happens. Now all of a sudden, you can have a relationship with that baby's mom if you want to. It's a better option. So the mom knows if I give my baby up, I have an option of knowing what happens to my baby. What's wrong with that? We make that impossible, if not illegal, if not impossible here. So yeah. So there are many ways you can make it easier. You will see it. Chris goes on. I'm essentially pro-life, but anything else is a spectrum. Is never a black and white answer. Yes. Dayton says, with an environment and ability to afford children, abortion would create. Yes. Absolute. Yes. 100%. Always true. And I'm the one who says that. And eventually you want to have a place in the perfect world, you have it to where people aren't even thinking about it. Right. But there's something else here, Jimmy. And this is an environment, not just of affordability, but an environment to where women are talking to each other about this. Right. If a woman is pregnant, she's going to go to her friends group, whatever, or her family group, whoever those people are in her world, her close circle, and say, my God, I'm pregnant. I don't want to be pregnant, but I am. Okay. What are they going to tell her? Sadly, you know this. I mean, in many places, what are they going to say? Better get rid of that baby. That man's not coming to you. Better get rid of that baby. You can't afford that. You got your life and going. You can't better get rid of that baby. I wish I was making that up. I think many of you know I'm not. We have to have more worlds. Say, no, there's options. I know a family. I know this. We could do that. What are you doing? Come on. We can make this work. If they're telling her that, whole different world. And I hope they are telling her that. I hope they are. So I think all of that matters together. But we have to change the environment. You're right. It's a cultural issue. Craig says, Larry, can you explain why you're a 2A guy? 2A guy, because the reality of it is, right now in New York State, there is no movement whatsoever to make the laws, the Second Amendment laws, better for people who support the Second Amendment. No movement at all. If anything, worse. Now we're banning 3D printers because they might print a gun or something. It's worse. How do we change that? I'm the guy who will tell you. And that is, when I become governor, I'll make a blanket pardon for any gun possession charge in New York State. So if you rob somebody, that's still a crime. You hit somebody over the head, still a crime. You brandish, still a crime. But if you just having a firearm is no longer a crime in New York State, it is automatically pardoned. That will drive everybody crazy. The DAs will go nuts. The judges go nuts. You can't do that. Oh my God, the world's ending. Great, good, okay. Then let's go back. Let's have a conversation, right? The safe act Republicans can come back and go, whoa, we didn't. Okay, let's talk about it again. I can reboot the entire a gun question and start rebooting the entire thing with just that action. They don't want to talk about it. It stays. It stays until we make the laws right. It stays. Blanket pardon. See you in court. Guess you'll be fighting me. See you in court. That will change everything. That's why. And I'm the only guy who will tell you that, because that's the only way of changing this. That's the only issue. Paraplegic Bud says no answer. Yes, what I thought. What did you ask me a question? I guess this guy's a new guy. I love when guys like him pop in and say things like, yeah, you're scared. Knucklehead, I ain't scared of you. Please stop. I've been doing this 8 years. You're some knucklehead that thinks you're cool. Stop. I'm scared. Stop. Oh, let's go find them. These things come by quickly, but for you, I'm going to go back. For you, wise ass, I'm going to go back. Hold on. Did you say something? Okay, hold on. If you're libertarian, what would you declare as legal age? Okay, first you don't declare anything, you fucking moron. It's not how it works. The age of consent in New York State is the highest in the entire area. It's 17. Everyone next to it is 16. Why would I care about that? Where's your head? You a little bit jealous you weren't in the files, in the e-files? You wish you was in there with them babies? Is that you? Got your mouth open? Why would you even say some stupid shit like that? You don't even know. New York State, 17. It's the highest of any. Every state that borders New York State, 16. New York State, 17. You don't know that? I do. Another fucking asshole. Anyway, move on. Next, sorry, I shouldn't get so upset. But this kind of stuff, when I'm talking about serious things, and then some virtue signaling idiot pops up, it does sometimes get me. If he was trying to get me, well done. But if you were trying to get me, you did. You got me all triggered. So I guess well done if that was your goal. You're still an asshole. But yes. Jeff says, Larry, how are you going to get in the ballot so you're recognized in the fight for governor? The only person they acknowledge is Blakeman, who doesn't have a chance. True. That is true. You are right. The answer is I have to get on the ballot in the Republican primary. How it works is once the Republican primary pops up, at that point, I will be legitimate. And once I'm legitimate in their minds, they will see it and they'll start covering me. That's how you do it. And not just that. Here's the bigger issue. Once I get into the primary, you will find social media following me. So people like the Joe Rogans of the world, Glenn Beck's of the world, people like that will start to have me on. As they have me on, local media will have to, is how it works, right? You go from here and then move to the next level. That's how you work. So yes, absolutely. Shelly says, but I can't find your question. See, he's just being a jerk. It's fine. Paris says, give Larry some time to get down. No, I missed that. I was just going by. I just missed it. That's all. He just wants to be a jerk. It's fine. I won't get from Mike's mad at me now. I know, because Mike always gets mad when I get triggered. So I'm going to be good, Mike. I don't care if he posts again. I will take it and I will not get triggered. I promise. Promise I won't. Mike's yelling at me already. Anyway, Josh says matching funds means a lot to donate. So donate to Larry Sharpe. True. Matching funds is everything, guys. With matching funds, Jeff, to answer your question, matching funds, now I can do ads. For those who don't know, most of the time, this is going to sound terrible, but it's true. Most of the time, local media won't follow you unless you buy ads. If you buy ads, they will then follow you. I know it sounds weird, but if you buy ads, well, there's ads on the TV stations. So now they cover you. So I get more cash. I buy some ads. I get covered. That's how it works. So yes. All righty. Adam says, will this be a call-in show? This is not a call-in show, but I do a call-in show every Monday at 1 p.m. So yes. Anthony says, will the Republican Party convention allow you to give a speech before they vote for you to be allowed in the primary? You give a speech that will be so good they remember it for years. Agreed. I should. I'm trying to make that happen, but here's the problem. This is what's broken in our politics. Officially, the parties are private organizations. Therefore, they are not required to be fair. I'm not joking. How do I know that? Bernie Sanders actually sued the Democratic Party in 2016 when they screwed him over, saying this is unfair. And a federal judge said, yeah, it doesn't matter. They're private. We don't run them. We don't control them. Political parties are not part of the government, so we can't control them. They're private. The judge literally said they are under no obligation to give you fair an outcome. They're not required to. They can do whatever they want. That's what the judge said. Here's the problem, though, Anthony. Then why do we pay for their primaries? Why am I, a taxpayer, paying for the primary of a private organization that has no requirement to give me anything fair? So they're not. Democrats can just do it. They did. Democrats just threw Kamala Harris on. That wasn't fair. They just decided it's Harris. Done. They can do it because they're a private company. That's actually how that works. Some of you think it's not true, but it is true. Our system is utterly broken. Parties are totally unconstitutional. It's utterly wrong, but we don't have any judges who will stop it. They should be banning us from paying for primaries or demanding every primary is an open primary. Either one's okay. Either they're private companies, we don't pay for them, or if we pay for them, open primaries. Either one is acceptable, but we don't do that. So yes, they should. I will try for that. I will hope for that, but we'll see what happens. You'll know in about a week. So yes. All righty. Little Frog says, I'm still in acute rehabilitation in Borough Park. Oh, okay. Hope you get well soon. But I got one to commit to voting for you on Facebook this past week. Thank you. 345 Adams Street is the BOE in Brooklyn if you're there. There we go. That's the BOE. I love it. There we go. All righty. Where am I? Bronner says, I read yesterday Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart fame are leaving New York because Mamdani wants to take their money. Ouch. Ouch. Bronner goes, the irony is both Wilson systems were highly supportive of Mamdani. Yeah, I'll give you a quick story. This is funny how so many people don't pay attention. The people don't pay attention. My daughter is an EMT, and she has different partners on her vehicle any given day, right? So this is about a month or two ago. There's a guy she's with, and he goes, aren't you happy Mamdani won? And she goes, for those, oh no, I do live in New York City. And she goes, why? And he goes, well, you know, he's going to help us. Mamdani, he's one of us. And she goes, he is? Okay. How? Well, you know, he's going to help us. You know, he's not Trump. So, you know, he's going to help us. And she went, great. How? Like she just asked a question. How's he going to help us? He didn't know. Brother, he didn't know. He went, well, you know, he's probably going to lower our taxes. That's what the guy actually said. He literally said about Mamdani. Do you understand how he's not paying attention? His assumption was Trump bad. Therefore, anyone not Trump is good because Trump bad. He's been told that for 10 years. So, okay, he must be good. Why? Because he's not Trump by default, making him good. That's his logic. As silly as that sounds, that's what he knows. So he was going to help. How? He doesn't know how. He didn't pay attention. He doesn't know any policies, but he himself wants his taxes lowered. So he just assumed, well, this guy will lower taxes. It is literally that simple. And when my daughter's like, how are you going to pay for the free buses? He was like, didn't know what to say. This is the Wilson sisters. Mamdani's not Trump, therefore he's good. I'm not paying attention. Oh, Mamdani wins. What's he gonna do? Raise my taxes? Wait a minute, dude. I thought he's a good one. Yes, it's that simple. Yes, that simple. Chris says 3 people heard about you today at Hornell Wegmans from me. Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Hornell's a great place. I've been there many times. I appreciate that. And I was very popular in that area. So, yes. When I ran 2018, Steuben County, West New York was all good, but Steuben County was my highest county. It was 9%. So, yes. All righty. Adam says, hey, Larry, just suggesting on your website. Can you see about adding a donation milestone counter so we can know when you've reached the New York State matching fund threshold? I think about that. I've got to redesign the entire website. It's just, it costs money to do so. It's a price thing, but yes, absolutely. So, all righty. Ponce, the gay boy, says, I'd like to see you and Daniel Warmas, a.k.a. auditing Erie County on YouTube, do an interview together. 716 fam. Talk to Daniel Warmas. Okay. I'm happy to reach out to him. Sounds good. Happy to. All righty. That sounds good. Sarah, how are you? I've arrived late. Who saw the video with Mario Fratto? Can't remember his name exactly. I thought Larry was making beautiful sense as always, but by the end I realized Mario was a bit of a blockhead. I'm not saying he's a blockhead. That's not true. Mario is a real conservative, and real conservatives have their mindset. It's what they want, what they care about. So it's like libertarians. They have their mindset. It's where they are. That's where their heads are. So Mario is for those who don't know, Mario Fratto is a real conservative. He is like, this is what it is. This is where it's got to be. That's where his head is. That's been a blockade. It means that's where his politics are. That's it. So yes. All right. Rhetoric says, I got my Larry Sharpe for Gov t-shirt. Very comfortable. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Where am I? Chris goes on to say, I will try to get Phil Palmisano on board. I've personally met with him a few times. Thank you. I appreciate that. Absolutely. All right. So I think I got a bunch of these if I can. Angela says, a friend of mine told me about you once and I started listening to you. You're winning my vote and I'm a Republican. Oh, thank you, Angela. Again, if you are a Republican, I'm going to ask you, reach out, call, text, whatever, your local Republican Party and say, hey, I want a primary. I don't want Blakeman. I want a primary. If Blakeman's the primary, fine, we'll swap Blakeman. If he doesn't, nope. We need to make sure we do that. It is important that we do that. So please do that. Remember, we will need two things in the future. We need people who are non-Republicans to change their registration to Republican before February 14th. Number two, if you do want to help out, if I'm unable to get 25 plus 1% of the vote next week in the Republican convention, I'll need boots on the ground no later than February 17th to start thinking about how we're going to get 15,000 signatures coming up here. So either way, we're going to get into it. We're going to make things work. We're going to have a hardcore primary with real answers to make things work. We can make things happen. It is important. So yes. All right. I appreciate that. I'm looking over at Instagram. Gibbons Noah says, will you pick a Republican as your running mate or someone from your party? Probably a Republican to be forward because I have to win a Republican primary. And for those you don't know, in theory, I could pick anybody or different people in theory for AG and controller. I could do that if I wanted to. And I have considered that. I might do something that's possible. That's something I could do if I make a coalition. I could do that. But the top two run together. So I have to have one group when it comes to governor, temporary government. So the odds are very high. I'll be picking someone the next couple of days because I have to have a slate, at least those two, by next week. So I'll be picking somebody next couple of days. I have a couple people I'm more on my short list I'm looking at. So the odds are very high that person will be a Republican. I am open. Like, for those of you who know how it works, for me to get the Libertarian Party nomination, I will have to have a separate petitioning for signatures. Now, in theory, I could have a separate AG and a separate controller for that line. That's possible. In theory, I could do that for Greens or We the People, whomever I wanted to, or I can keep the same for Republicans. On the Republican Party line, I've got to have Republicans for that. So I will have a Republican slate no matter what. And the two must stay the same across. So whatever other group I get, conservative, We the People, Libertarian, Green, whoever, the top two will be the same going across. So that will have to probably be two Republicans because I'll never get to the Republican line without it. So I probably have to do both of those all the way across. But underneath, in theory, I could have different ones. I could have If I had a Green Party line, I could have the two Republicans on top and then a Green AG and a Green controller. I could. Libertarian control, Libertarian AG. I could. Republican, Conservatives. I could mix and match in theory. The odds are I probably won't. I'll probably keep all the same. But look, I'm open. Whatever's going to get the most votes so that we can win this damn thing. So I would be open if like the Conservatives like, hey, Larry, we'll keep in a line, but you got to have a Conservative AG and a Conservative controller. I'm not going to cry. I would do it if they were that hard. I don't think Conservatives would do that. We the people might. Libertarians might. So it's possible. Libertarians might not care. I might go, look, we just want ballot access. We don't care who you get. Put whatever. I don't know what Libertarians would do. So I'm open to doing that if I want to swap it. But the top two must be the same. That's how New York State law works. I hope I answered your question on that one. So, all righty. Let me walk down some more of these. Ken says the only thing the Republicans have to lose by not letting you in the primary is media exposure. Well, they're also worried about something else. They are worried about not grifting. The leadership of the Republican Party, not the individual Republicans, they're accustomed to having stuff go their way with the people that they like the way they like it. And then comes Larry Sharpe. Maybe not. So, yeah. Christopher says, Byron Brown. Yep, that's the guy, Byron Brown. He's the guy who beat India Walton. That is true. So I wasn't making that up. That actually happened. Yes. Rhetoric says, it's time for Larry to select Beyonce as running mate. Okay, if Beyonce was a New Yorker, and if she's been here at least 7 years, I'm all in. All in. Yes, I hope that's true. Do you know something I don't know, Rhetoric? Let me know. So Chris says, people have been okay for decades with R's and D's, disbelief being a spectrum. So why is that okay for libertarians? All righty. Let's see if I can walk down this road. All right. Nico says she's the former city council speaker. Oh, she's former? I thought she was still, Nico. City council speaker is the name. Okay. Yes. I'm sorry. I thought she still was. Thank you, Nico. Then I'm mistaken in that regard. Thank you for squaring away, Nico. So yes. Mike says, it is DEI. Coincidence can't be predicted 15 times in a row. I knew Mike was going to say something. Stop teasing you, Mike. So yeah, I knew. Yes. All right. Mike goes on to say, Hochul lost a black male Dem for lieutenant, so a black woman is a better checkbox. True, you're not wrong. Especially if she has one of the infinite genders. I predicted an announcement in the future, but that's not the qualification. No, she already, yeah, no, the reality is the pick is a smart pick for her. And if you know, she always uses the woman card, Mike. She always uses the woman card. So this runs right in line with her normal conversation, her normal talk. She does it. Phil says, Larry should run with Vivica A. Fox. If you know something I don't know, Phil, make that phone call. I'm in. Vivica. I'm in. Yes. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Yes. Ken says, Democratic regime in New York must be toppled. Go, Larry. Yes, I'm trying my best. I am, 100%. So, all righty. Super Weapon says, VAWFCS.org is a great organization that helps with single mothers and providing an alternative to abortion. I think we need a lot of those. Yes, I'm with you. We need more and more and more of those. Yes, 100%. So, all righty. Anthony says, what's your strategy at the Republican Party convention to have them allowed to be in the party? Talk to them. I'm making phone calls now, believe it or not. I've been calling people, letting them know why it matters. Look, the reality of the Republican primary, why does it actually matter? The reality of it is a primary is better for everybody. It brings press, it brings money, it brings excitement, it brings everything. And for those who say, well, you can't have that because, Blakeman has enough money. He's going to lose money if he primaries you. Okay, Hochul's primary, so she loses money too. And if you can't afford to primary me, you can't afford to beat Hochul. Sorry. And if you can't beat me in the primary, you can't beat Hochul. So why do you care? That's my answer. Not just that. Who is going to bring more excitement to the ticket? A guy who's ready to retire and take the final L, or a guy who's been crossing this state and street fighting for 8 years? It's kind of obvious. Who is going to put a coalition together? And more importantly, in New York State, Which one of us is backed by Trump? It's him, not me. In New York, if we live in Oklahoma, he's got the big advantage. We live in South Carolina, huge advantage. We're in New York State. Democrats in New York State hate Trump. They hate him. They will vote for anybody over him. It does not matter who it is. They voted for Mamdani. They will vote for anybody over him. It does not matter. It's impossible. They're going to turn him into Trump. You know this. I know this. And when they turn him into Trump, he's going to lose. Zero chance. Zero chance. So the people who support Trump are leaving the state at 100,000 a year. So, yeah. All righty. Andrea says, as a woman who gave her baby for adoption, I thank the Children's Aid Society of Utah for helping me. Unfortunately, these types of charities are grossly overregulated and underfunded. Yes, and yes. What I keep that, Andrea, thank you for sharing that. This is literally what I'm talking about. If women have better options, they take them. To think that every woman who has an abortion is a bad woman or an evil woman or whatever. Simply, are there? Of course there are. Women are just humans. There's bad ones too. It's fine. There's human beings, of course. But the vast majority of women do it because they believe it is their best and or only option. If we show them it's not, a whole lot of them will not choose that option. You are the perfect example of that. Many of them will not. I completely agree. Yes. D says, Larry's so pro to way that Dexter Taylor will be pardoned on day one. True. Yes. Phil says that was very courageous, Andrea. You're 100% right. You need to make sure that the option isn't regulated away. Bingo. Yes. Look, what you just heard openly on this channel about people talking about options for abortions. You saw people put a website. You saw someone, Andrea, explain her story. You hear Phil jump aboard too. You're going to get that on a talk with Kathy Hochul. Stop. You're going to get that on a talk with Blakeman. No. He's openly and happily pro-choice. Wouldn't bring it up. Didn't bring up abortion at all at the convention. Didn't bring it up at all. I did. People talked about it. I talked about it. He would not. Wouldn't even bring it up. Wouldn't bring it up. I'm not the perfect pro-life candidate. That's true. I'm not. I'm absolutely the best you're going to get if you're in this state, without question. There's no one better. There's no one who doesn't have a problem talking about it. I talk about it. I'm not a fan of abortion. I said it more than once. I'm adopted myself. My mom actually gave me away instead of ending me, and she could have ended me, and she did not. And I'm very happy she chose not to. So I get it. It makes me still understand the reality of what this state is. It is codified not only in law, it is codified in our Constitution. We've lost the legal battle, but the cultural battle is still there, and I'm prepared to fight it. I will. That's all I'm telling you. So I hope that's good enough for some of you. Some of it won't. So there we go. All righty. Bronna says, hi, I love when Larry talks like I do. Effing moron. But yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, the guy, he's jealous. He's not part of the files. He wishes he was. So that's it. So there we go. Chris said, latest New York poll from CNN leaves out 18% of people who like to support Sharpe. True. They always leave me out. They leave me out. Yes. They leave me out. It's true. I was a little bit spicy. I wasn't that guy. Yeah. There we go. I was a little bit spicy. It's true. But he didn't even know what he's talking about. I was spicy. I know. I do get spicy sometimes. See, Mike was already mad. I knew Mike. Mike's like, don't get. Mike doesn't like when I get triggered. I did get a little bit. Usually libertarians trigger me, and it was libertarian stuff. So they know how to trigger me. It's true. My people trigger me, Mike. My people trigger me. So I got to be good. So yes. Oh, Mike goes, oh, he almost triggered me too. All right. See, you can't be that mad at me, Mike. He almost triggered me. He almost got you too. There we go. There we go. Trevor says, I'd rather not see open carry in the city. The same person in rural area open carry doesn't bother me. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not mad about those issues. And let me get what I'm saying. I recognize what state I'm in, Christopher. Again, it's just similar to the abortion issue. I recognize what state I live in. I live in New York State. You do too. This state loves gun control. It does. It's a fact. You can hate it. You can love it. This state loves gun control. Every poll they ever do, every one of them shows that most New Yorkers want more gun control. That's why Kathy Hochul's jumping on board. She's all on board with more. Let's get rid of the ghost guns. Let's ban 3D printers. It's popular for her. The most recent poll she's been in, she is the highest favorable rating she's ever been. It's still over 50%. It's still under 50%, but the highest. She's jumping on the ghost gun stupidity, and she's yelling Trump bad, ICE out. She's doing all the things that say Orange Man bad. Sadly, Orange Man bad still works for a lot of Democrats. It does. Again, be mad at it. It is what it is. I'm trying to be honest in what's happening. That does work still. But look, if we can make it to where you simply don't go to jail if you have your legally owned firearm, how about we just go there, Christopher? How about that? Let's go there first. Again, as I'm talking, we are still marching towards no one has a gun. Nobody, only the cops, nobody else. We're marching towards that word. Let's turn us around and go towards people have right to defend themselves. So I would take just that one bit first. Let's go there first. So I'm with you completely. I'm with you. All right. Andrew says, what ads did you get for a central New York station to mention you? None. I do a lot of work in those areas. So there's a little bit like if you show up enough, sometimes they'll do it. Not just that. If you show up enough, and you give them excitement, like when I go on to shows, I give them excitement. They'll sometimes cover me because they get excitement. So there are other ways around it. The good general rule is ads what you get. So yes. D Nice Gamer says, do you plan to visit Westchester County? It's a county, so yes. If I can find one, I'm looking at it right now. But yes, I'm trying to get every county. I will go to every county. All righty. Hold on. Let me give you which one before I go to here. Let me see if I can find what I'm supposed to be in. At this moment, I am planning to be in Westchester. Hold on. February 22nd is when I should be in Westchester. I won't have that posted for about a week or two from now, but if I were you, I would block out Westchester around 4 or so. I should be in Westchester around 4 p.m. So that's what I'm currently looking at. It's February 22nd, Sunday. That is my current one. So hope that answers your question. So, all right, let me grab some more. Instagram, R.H. Snowden says, last time I voted, third party was on the ballot. Correct. That's why I'm trying to make that happen. He goes on to say, in any case, Kathy Hochul was very likely to win yet again. So I see it as a waste not to vote third party. I don't like your reasoning, but I don't care. Vote for me. But yes, but you're right, though. Here's the reality. There are only two options in November, and some of you may or may not agree, but doesn't matter. I'm still right. Either Kathy Hochul wins or I win. That's it. Those are two options. No one else is running except for Blakeman. Blakeman cannot win. That is impossible. He will not win. Larry, why not? He's got a resume. If resumes won elections, Mamdani wouldn't be my mayor. If resumes won elections, Hillary Clinton would have beat Trump. If resumes won elections. Resumes do not win elections. It's a fantasy people make up that is cope that the Republican Party is making up. Blakeman cannot win, will not win, will never win in a gazillion years. It is impossible. It is impossible. He is someone who is not prepared to run, not prepared to be exciting, has no policies, has no plans. Not just that. He is supported openly by Trump. In New York State. Impossible. So either Kathy Hochul wins, that's option, which is what it looks like now, unless I win. And I've asked for this, I'm glad you brought this up. This actually happened more than once. People I talk about me maybe winning the Republican primary, and they say, Larry, yeah, but Republicans won't let you in. They're going to stop you. Right. They're going to try to. I agree. I'm going to try to fix that. Not going to be easy. I'm trying. But Larry, if you won the primary, man, you'd beat Kathy Hochul. Yes. So this is the difference. What people don't realize. The Republican establishment in New York State versus the Republican voter. The voter thinks this would be a great idea. The establishment goes, no, because we're afraid it won't be in power. Establishment, if you're watching, I hope you are. Do you think that if I win the primary that I'm going to go, great, now I win a primary. All the Republicans are fired. Some magical way I could do that. Do I have that kind of power? No, but I'm firing all of you and you're all gone. Is that what I'm going to do? Stop. First off, even if I were to bring libertarians on board, which I'd probably bring some on, there aren't enough to do anything. We don't have enough in the party, and they aren't experienced enough. So I could hardly bring on anyway. I would still need you. You're still going to be around, Republicans. I might throw some libertarians in, and I might throw some Greens in. I know, drive you crazy. But I might throw some in. Who knows who I'll throw in? I'll throw somebody in. But it's going to be basically you. I'm still going to be a Republican. It's not going to change. Don't be so scared. You might have to you might do some work. But that's okay. Do some work. Get paid. Let's win this damn thing. Let's change the state. Let's stop your constituents from leaving the state, which they keep leaving the state. So wouldn't you rather have them stay? Wouldn't you, if you are a Republican county chair, if you are Republican leadership somewhere in a county or a state or a city, wouldn't you like it if more money came flowing in because people believed you could actually win? Wouldn't you like it if when Larry Sharpe showed up, people got excited and stuff happened? Wouldn't it be nice if people from outside the state believed in New York State and would throw money at it again? Wouldn't it be nice if you had enough money to start having events where you can actually rebuild your broken infrastructure that's crushed up the entire state, particularly if you're a conservative party? You can see the broken establishment you have here. Well, with the Republican Party establishment here, who's trashed because they can't even find enough people to fill their spots. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, I know a guy who can do it. His name's Larry Sharpe. He did with the Libertarian Party. And that wasn't even a major party. For those who don't remember, and again, I'm not just talking trash like because I'm super cool. I mean, I am super cool, but that's not why I'm talking trash because I did it already. For those of you who remember who were there in 2018, when I started running for governor in 2017, the Libertarian Party had 15 affiliates. There are 62 counties. So we didn't even have an affiliate in every county, 15 only. When I was done running, we had 30. We doubled. Now, the Republican Party is far better off than that. Imagine what it could achieve. When I started running, we had 7,000 registered libertarians. When I was done, we had 30,000. Now, again, Republicans have far more than that. Imagine what happens when I jump on board. I've already done it. We went from 0 elected libertarians to 107 in 1 year. 0 to 107. And again, 0. There's far more Republicans than that. I've already shown my power. I've already shown my ability. I already know what I do. What can you do? So far, the establishment is showing that it's not doing well. I am your answer. I'm the only one here doing it. Ain't no one else trying. So, all right, I'm keep walking down this road if I can. Oh, right, I covered that. Walk down that road. All right. Sarah says, Larry Ice has multiple contacts with Palantir, including a recent $30 million one. I believe this ICE mess is about practice run for Palantir and has zero to do with immigrants. Your thoughts? I don't think it's only Palantir. I actually think it's bigger than that. Much of this started during the lockdowns without anything. It started after 9/11 and kept moving on from that. There's been a slow way of testing how much the American people will take. How far will we accept the boot? If that makes any sense. So I think it's actually bigger than that. I think that's part of it, but bigger. And it may sound crazy, but I see it everywhere. How much can we squeeze? At what point? Because here's the reality. At one point, the American people go, enough. At one point. I don't know when that point is, and they are trying to figure it out. And they pull back, just went, oh, okay. Push a little further. Okay. Push a little further. So, yes, absolutely. Amy says, crazy thought and question. If you get enough signatures on petitions that states both Libertarian and Republican Party, is that legal? So if you're showing on Libertarian sigs, you get on the Republican. No, how it works is at 2 separate times and 2 separate ones. There will be a separate set. Excuse me, guys. Let me grab a bit of water. Sorry. All right. Sorry. Amy, there will be 2 separate signature runs. One will be between around mid-February to around mid-April. That will be for Republican signatures. It will be a specific Republican slate that says we want to be in a primary. We have to get 15,000 registered Republicans from New York State. That's a separate run. That's done, submitted. Right after that, we then have to get libertarians. totally separate. Libertarian slate, same idea. Same two top people must be. The other two can also be there too, but the top two must be the same. Those two, and then they go out. That's 6 weeks from about mid-April to the end of May. And then that has to be 45,000 signatures of any registered voters in New York State. Doesn't matter what party they're in, irrelevant, anybody who wants to sign those. So it's two separate issues. In theory, I could fail on both. In theory, I can make both. So I hope that's clearer. They're two separate issues. And the people can be exactly the same. Who must be the same as the top two. The bottom two can be different if we want to. It doesn't matter. Can be. So I hope that answers your question. All righty. I grabbed that one. Got that one. Francis, hi, Sharpe family. Oh, that's nice. I do all of you. That's great. Let's see here. D says, show your love for Larry. Change your registration to GOP by February 14th. Yes, if you're in New York State, please do so. I would appreciate that. I hate says, hey, Larry, have you thought of reaching out to Lou Rossman? He's a YouTuber that love. I know Lou. I saw him what? A month ago? Where did I see him? 2 months ago? I forgot where I saw him. Yeah, I've been on a show before. He's been on my show before. Yeah, I know. I know Lou. If you put in Lou Rossman, Larry Sharpe, you'll see we did shows together before. 100%. Yeah. So you think I should grab him again? Maybe I will. I can reach out to him again. I'll see if he'll want me on. I haven't really thought about it, but you know what? Good point. Good point. Yes. All righty. Walk down that road. Okay. I saw what you wrote, Lunatic. I'm not getting in trouble on YouTube. Lunatic trying to get me canceled. Trying to get me canceled. I'm not putting it out. I'm not saying it. You guys can read what he put on YouTube. I'm not accepting anything. Gonna get me in trouble. All right. D says, I'm looking forward to the next poll. Can Larry talk about this poll that just recently came out showing that everybody loves Hochul? Yeah, it's not that everyone loves Hochul, obviously. But it's just showing that she's still not at 50%. She is simply her highest favorability rating so far. So can she get better? Sure, she could in theory. But she doesn't need much, right? Because if her favorability rating is probably around over 40%, she'll probably still be able to get the majority. Why? Because, if you're saying she's favorable, you are going to vote for her. If it's 49%, depending how accurate that is, right? That's about the amount of registered Democrats in the state. We're about 47%, which means the odds are not every Democrat loves her, but it means most do. So it means most Democrats like Hochul. And I think most Democrats are satisfied with Hochul compared to anyone else who's running. They don't know really who Delgado is. He has not done a very good job getting his name out there. They don't really know him much. And they hate anyone Republican because of Trump. They hate Trump. So they're like, okay, she'll be fine. I think most of them think that, right? So that's true. But then again, the question is, what do independents do? So say 30% of independents. Say she gets 1/3 of them. Say 1/3 go independent or don't show up. 1/3 vote for a Democrat, 1/3 vote for Republicans. Well, she's over the top. So yeah, I think that's the piece. So even though 49% or whatever she is at isn't over 50, when you add the others, right now she's winning. And she knows it. If you've noticed what's happened, for those who are paying attention, since that poll came out, once that poll came out, she is racking up endorsements. Now you might go, why does that matter? Generally speaking, in normal general elections, endorsements don't mean that much. Sometimes they do, but usually they don't mean that much. In primaries, they do, because the hardcore people show up in primaries, and endorsements means those people go to their people and say vote. She is racking them up. She must have gotten 30 in the last 4 days or whatever. That poll. She got tons. What does that mean? That means that Delgado's not getting him. Now, one big thing did happen. The Brooklyn Democratic Party or something actually rescinded. This actually happened. Rescinded it because of her picking her lieutenant governor today. A lot of people don't like, particularly in New York City, they don't like that governor pick. They don't like it. They don't like it. They look at Adrian Adams as a total machine Democrat. And they're probably not wrong. So they look at, and they don't like that. They don't like total machine Democrat. So some people are walking away. So she did lose a little bit, but overall, she is gaining more and more endorsements. And what does that mean? Local people telling their hardcore supporters to get out and vote and support her. So it is a big deal in a primary. Endorsements have some play in a general election, but not much. It's much more, much more in the primary. So I hope that answers your question. So yes. All righty. Chris says Ron Paul's story becoming a pro-life is incredible, and he's very libertarian. Yeah, it's true. Yes, I agree with that. Yes. All righty. Let me grab some more of this if I can. Lorraine says, what kind of solutions in New York in regards to that? Nice egg electric when people can't afford it. This is a piece no one brings up. Or they just, like Hochul says, yeah, electricity, we're going to pass laws. Okay, for those who don't know, in New York State, any increase has to be okayed by the state. The state authorizes increases because the state runs energy. Wait a minute, Larry. Something the state runs doesn't do well and it's expensive? That's never happened before, except always, yes, every single time. So the first thing we do is stop the state from running it. That's first thing. How do we do that? Magic. No. This is my entire piece on nuclear energy. There are about a dozen spots throughout New York State. I got to find them exactly where they are so I can get a full list of them. About a dozen places where you could just pop in either a thorium reactor or modular reactors. Now, modular reactors are faster and expandable. Very safe because if one has a problem, you shut one down, the rest can still keep walking. Thorium is the safest of them all, but it's also the newest. And the Chinese have only built, like, I think 5 or something like that. They haven't built that many of them. The Chinese already built them already. You can get those put up in 2 years. I'm not joking. 2 years up and running in 2 years. You get those up and running. Anyone local who wants it, gets it. You don't want it, don't get it again. People choose. We start doing that. What happens is the government doesn't run those. The government just leases out the land. That's it. So you want to build it? Great. You're going to pay a check to the government every year, X dollars. Good luck. You are authorized to do all your things. But Larry, you need all kind of regulatory. No, I'm the governor. You have it. But Larry, the people will sue you. Yep. But Larry, the whatever environment sue you. Yes. But Larry, the federal government will sue you. Yes. And I'll keep it in court for 17 years. They'll be built already. I don't care. And I say it publicly. It's like if someone says, but Larry, good, I will keep you in court in perpetuity. We're building. And while you're in court, we're building. So you can tell me once you win your lawsuit 5 years now, shut it down. But they won't, because the second piece is, Lorraine, is the nuclear power plant is owned by the private company, half owned by the local people. So they get a chunk, they get a cut. So 2 things happen. Number 1, I now have 12 nuclear power plants running. Well, how did they get energy? From the grid, which they have to, because it's private, they'll have to rebuild the grids as they see fit with each one. They'll do it themselves because they have to, right? Okay, great. Who's going to pay for that? AI is going to pay for that. What? Yes. AI and blockchain. Yes. Because once they have a nuclear power plant, they're going to want to connect AI and blockchain right to the nuclear power. Of course they will. Would you want one in your county now? Of course not. Why would you want a blockchain mining facility or an AI data processing facility in your county? Of course you wouldn't. They don't provide many jobs, maybe a dozen at best, if even that, right? And they suck up all your energy, make you pay more, and trash your water. Why would you want one? Nobody would. Oh, but Lorraine, you're 50% owner with your community in nuclear power plant. That's modular. That can grow as much as we want. So now, do you want AI? Yeah, you do. Do you want blockchain? Yeah, you do. Because as they go in, you need more nuclear energy. That's a good thing. Because for every nuclear power plant, it's hundreds of jobs, real jobs, plus support jobs, 3 to 4 for every person. Now we're talking hundreds of jobs. That's one thing, but not just that. At the end of the year, all the energy that's get bought, you're getting cut. You can do whatever you want with that cut. Whatever you want with that cut. Do you want to make as I said, you make a local credit union that gives 1% loans, people to buy houses for residents who live there, 1% loan to build housing for more people to have cheaper housing, 1% loan to start a business to rebuild your main street? You decide. You vote for it. You're an owner. You're a part owner. You guys get together, vote. Do you just want to say, no, we don't want that. We're going to create a sovereign fund for our county, for our municipality, so we can, whatever, build more roads or fix a bridge or build out a daycare center or elderly facility. You decide. Your community. Oh, we don't want any of that. We're going to copy the Alaska model. We want to check every year. Great. You're going to check every year. Boom. You're going to check every year, Lorraine. You cannot wait to have the next AI, data processing center in your, put them all, put 10 in. How many we got? We got more space, put more in. You can't wait. You're going to check. You don't care. Or just lower your costs. Free energy or cheap energy, a penny a freaking watt, whatever. Just whatever you want. Whatever you like. You can decide on your own. But even if you do none of that, a bunch of nuclear power plants. Well, nuclear power plants, they're not owned by the state, which means you can buy from whichever one you want. Once you have competition, what always happens every single time? Oh, wait, service goes up and price goes down. Every single time. That's our problem. That solves it. That's what solves it. 12 nuclear power plants solves our problem. Done. Cheaper energy. Everyone can afford it. Everyone can. That's the answer. Who's talking about that? Oh, wait, no one. No one. That's the answer. And now all these farmers who are getting hammered, they have no choice basically, but to either become a Monsanto farm or they can't survive, or they have to go off and get solar plants, solar farms on their land because they can't afford anything else. That goes away. So yes, that's how you fix it. Hope that makes sense. All righty. Let's see here. Tom says, what's your plan for overholding oversight the various New York State authorities? Number one thing, and I brought this up with a guy who was talking to, who's actually running for AG and controller, both of them. And they're both open to the idea. Number one thing we do is we immediately use AI to flag problems. Immediately. I brought this up before. Same concept. Use AI to flag problems. That gets us starting to overhaul. That's the fastest way of doing it. The second thing we do is create a 6-year sunset on every single regulation. So every regulation must be rechecked every 6 years. If it's not voted on again, it's no longer a law. It's gone. That's how you start that, Tom. You begin it happening, see everything begin to happen. Boom, 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 again and again and again. You will see it work. So, all righty. Jimmy goes on to say, nuclear independence where we can sell to other states and Canada for profit to decrease our debt. Yes. Not just that. You can do it personally. If you own it, you can say, hey, you can decide, hey, we don't want to give all the energy to X and Y. We want to sell it to Canada. Or the reverse. We don't care about Canada, sell it to Canada, sell it to New Yorkers. You can decide as you see fit. 100%. Up to you. Up to you. Yes. And it says, you really are cool. True. And beyond intelligent? I don't know about that, but I'll take it. Thank you for the compliment. I'm not sure about that. So yes. Yeah. All righty. Let me grab some more of these. Robert says, Larry, how do you feel about those EpiPen files? Your amount of backdoor dealing and lockout is what's up for me. It's completely flies in the face of meritocracy. Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be flippant here, but I do think that I'm not shocked by the massive amount of things. The thing to remember, though, a lot of those files, and I'm not I got to say this the right way before I get myself in trouble. I am not at all trying to say it isn't horrible. It's horrible. Of course. Let's be clear on that. I'm not saying it isn't, it doesn't implement a whole lot of people. But remember, a bunch of that is draft emails. So there's a chunk of that we don't know is real or not. Now, I believe that the vast majority of it is real and it's horrible. But let's just be clear. There are certain things that may or may not be true. That's all I'm saying. Certain things are like, just because I draft an email to Robert going, Robert, how about that time you shot those 4 guys? Doesn't mean you shot those 4 guys. I mean, you might have. But just because I draft an email to you and don't send it and go, Robert, I'm getting worried. The cops may find out about those 4 guys you shot. It doesn't mean you shot 4 guys. So just keep that piece in mind as you're going through. But yes, you're totally correct. It's terrible. It just shows how the elites in this country just keep doing it. So Anthony goes, what will you do about the e-files being governed? You prosecuting it? No, I'm not. That's federal. Let the feds do it. They got it. Let them do it. I mean, unless there's a bunch of New Yorkers, maybe. I mean, maybe, but look, it's already bad. Do I need to do more? Maybe. I don't know. So yes. All righty. Christmas says, about signatures, how do we get a chance to sign? It'll come. The time will come. You won't know. You won't know. So, yes. So, all righty. Where am I going here? More of these if I can. Andrew says, what the heck did Lunatic do again? He's being lunatic. It's kind of who he is. So, yes. So, Shelley says, we should flood Trump with Larry's name. Not a bad idea. I like that. Then maybe he'll say something. Who's just Larry Sharpe? Yeah. I love that. Yes, do that. Yes. Amy says, did they only poll Democrats? That's the question. No, they did not. If you look at the numbers, they did not poll only Democrats. They did not. So, yes. So, I hate says, yeah, Louis Robson was trying to get in touch with Mamdani. You send him an email. Better if you and Louis make a video showing you. If you, yeah, look, you really can't get a hold of Mamdani now. I mean, for those of you who know, I had him on my show, but that's when he was an assemblyman. So if you Google Larry Sharpe or Mamdani, you'll see I had him on my show 3 years ago. And I warned people that he was savvy. I warned that he would be savvy. He's a charismatic, whether you like him or not, he's charismatic. You know, I always try to give credit where credit is due. The guy's charismatic and he's smart. He's no dummy. The guy's not dumb and he's charismatic. So I warn people of that. And they're like, wow. Of course, the Republican establishment constantly ignores me. Republicans, if you're in the establishment, stop it. I'm right. I've been proven right for 8 years in a row. Stop ignoring me. The average Republican would like you to stop ignoring me. So if you're listening, stop ignoring me. So, yes. All righty. All right. Grab that one. Okay. D-Beauty says, Larry, how was the turnout in Troy? I said my brother, but know if he showed up there. I don't know if he showed up either, but we had a great turnout. And we had 2 events last week on the way up from the night before I was going to the conservative convention. The conservative convention was on Sunday and Monday. So I did 2 events on Saturday on the way up. Both were great. I think over 20, 25 people in each one. I mean, it was great. A lot of good. And this is just off the cuff. Big. Lots of people showed up. Nobody was really pissed off. I can't complain. It was a 2 great events. I put some pictures up. We took a couple pictures. Weren't great. We took a couple pictures. So you can see I went live for one of them. If you guys check my YouTube page, you'll see I went live for the one in Poughkeepsie. I didn't go live for one in Troy. It was a diner, and it just wasn't appropriate because there were too many people around. But the good thing is what was we had to keep moving more and more tables. We didn't have enough tables. So many people showed up. 25, 30 people, whatever it was. There were a lot of people in Troy showed up. I can't remember how many it was. It was a lot. So I had to actually go table to table and talk to people, table to table, chatting, talking, whatever. And more people who were like nearby were like, who's this guy? So some of them were like joining us, but weren't joining us because they was interested. So that was good too. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I was very happy to see it. So there we go. How do we coordinate to get you in our county to speak? Great question. I mean, you know, Craig, reach out to Craig. You know him, reach out to him. He's the guy. He will make sure we make it happen. He kind of runs the whole thing. So reach out to him. He'll make it happen. I'm happy to come out there. You're in Delaware, right? Are you in Delaware County? I think you're Delaware, right? You're in that area. I think Delaware. I hope I didn't just insult you, but I think you're in Delaware if I remember right. So yeah, you're in that area, I think. But anyway, whatever the case may be, or you next to Delaware. Anyway, yeah, how to do that. So Lunatic says, love the Instagram AI of boxing your opponent. I know. The funny thing is I love the AI stuff, right? We don't want too much of it because it can become like slop, but I think people like the AI stuff is kind of cute and fun, and I don't mind. I mean, some of us look silly, but it's fine. Whatever. I want people to see it. That's what matters. So, all right. I hate says, Larry, make a video about that. Just you roasting Kathy for saying that stupid comment. Oh yeah, I do it often. So yeah, maybe. All right. Patty says, sorry if this was asked, but just found this chat. What party line will you be running on? Are you planning to run on third party line or change restriction Republican? If I post online, she was going on. Thank you for that, Patty. Yes, I am planning on running in the Republican primary. I hope to get the Republican. I hope to run against Blakeman in the Republican primary. If I am able to get into the primary, the Republicans will decide next week at their convention. If 25% of the delegates there or more say yes to me, then I'm in the primary. If they don't do that, then I have to go out and get signatures, 15,000 of them to get in the primary. But yes, I'll be priming either way. I'll either be spending time and money getting signatures, or I'll just get it. I hope I don't have to spend the time and money, but yes, I will be in the Republican primary, which if I win the Republican primary, I will also have 2 other lines. I will also get the conservative line because conservatives like me already. I know they will endorse me if I get the Republican line. So I will have a Republican line and a conservative line. And I'm also running to get the Libertarian Party line. So I'll have 3 lines at the same time, all to be available in the primary, in the general election, which means I will be beating Kathy Hochul in November, assuming I get that. So there we go. All right. I think I covered that. All right, I covered all of that. That's good. If you guys want to help out, remember, you can either donate, as I said there. You can also become a volunteer if you want to. And by the way, there will be a volunteer meeting tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Right after the show, about 15 minutes. I will be there also. So if you want to help out, please go to larrysharpe.com/volunteer if you can. And also show up at the event tonight. If you can, it's great. Make sure you repost this someplace. If you have not reposted this, please repost this someplace. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel or page. And no matter what you do, click the button known as Lima, India, Kilo, Echo. I need more people to see this. More people to see this so we can grow more and more and more. And obviously, if you can support, donate. LarrySharpe.com/donate. You can do monthly, even better. $25 a month, $50 a month, whatever you can swing. $10 a month, whatever you can swing is helpful. If you can do that, it is helpful. Please do so. Again, tonight, 9 p.m., there will be a one there, of course. So Josh says, I'll take Larry Sharpe's energy policy and national scare. Yes, I agree completely. We should do that. I agree completely. Yes. So, all righty. Gracie says, Larry could win the governor's race just on his Empress Kathy roast. Larry, would she ever debate you? Would you take a Cuomo endorsement? Any Cuomo? 2 things. 1, she will debate me. She'll have to. It's the rules in New York State. If someone takes matching funds, there must be a debate. That's how it works because the public's paying. So there must be a debate. She will be slaughtered in that debate. She will be just absolutely slaughtered. She will try to play the woman card all day long. That's what she'll play. She'll try that all day long. So yes, absolutely. So I hope that makes sense. Dayton says, can anyone of any party can carry this? Yes, there's rules, but there are some rules to it. Not anyone, but many people can. The people signing must be. We actually did a lawsuit a couple years ago to make this work. It used to be you had to be of that party. That's no longer the case anymore. So yes, but there are some rules that we will get out to you during volunteer meetings to make sure that's true. So yes. Back to, hold on. Would I take a Cuomo endorsement? I don't care. Whoever wants to endorse me can endorse me. I don't care. You want to endorse me? Go ahead. Yes. Dayton says, I had to lose teeth to move to Wayne. Oh, you're in Wayne County? Oh, you moved. Okay, so you used to be in there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay. There we go. Yes. I thought you were in that area, something like that. I thought you, okay, so yeah. Wayne County, there we go. Yes, absolutely, there we go. Yes. All right, you're in Wayne County. So a little bit further away. There we go, a little bit further away. I was 100% correct. Yes, absolutely. All righty. Let's see here. I covered that piece. I think I covered most of those. Okay, I covered a bunch. I appreciate it. I try to cover as much as I possibly could. I know I've been doing a lot of back and forth to the best of my ability. I'm trying to. So, okay. Anyway, I have to run because of the event that's coming up here. So I appreciate that. Guys, I'm going to ask you one more time, if you don't mind, please click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. If you can do so, please do so. If you can donate, it's always a fundraiser. We're always looking to raise cash. You got to raise more money. The more money to raise, better we can do. But no matter what, share this, share it. I cannot tell you how much. I'm also going to give you some more instruction. If you are watching this and you want me to do well in a Republican primary, and you want me to be in a Republican primary, and you are a Republican in New York State, call, text, email the Republican leadership in your county or city. Literally just call them, go online, find their number, call them, reach out, email. Hey, I don't want Blakeman to be foisted upon us without a primary. I want a Blakeman Sharpe primary. That's what I want. Tell them that. Tell them that more than once. Have your friends tell them that. Let them know. They have to make a decision on that coming up here next week, Tuesday. So there's only until next Tuesday to tell them. So do it soon. Email, text, call. Let them know that's what you want. It's important. You do that, we can push it to a point to where they go, you know what? Let them in. Let them in. Let's just do this. Let's have a primary, and it can work. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a couple hours, 2 hours today. God, I appreciate it so much. Remember, if you want to, please do me a favor, comment after the live. And I want you to comment on what do you think is the overlap of conservatives and libertarians? Comment after the live. What's the overlap between those two? If you could, remember, if it's not live, something else may pop up. And if you want to, you can always watch one of those two videos that are popping up. I will see you all